I just want to thank my Aunt Charlotte because, like she said, she was always there with my mom. She came over every Sunday. Every time she left, I saw a strawberry shortcake in the fridge or some cheese buns on the counter for Brenda. I said, Brenda, ask them to bring you some apples or some grapes or some fruit, some fiber. And she said, oh, okay, yeah, all right. Next week is a strawberry shortcake, it's a honey bun. I said, get them to bring you some, some pineapple or some of those oranges you like. Next week is more cheese buns from Ponzio's, because that's what Brenda liked. My mom, she took good care of my older sister, Chevelle. She was diagnosed with cerebral palsy and passed away around 12 years old. And some people told Brenda that she should put Chevelle in a facility, but she refused to do that. And when she passed away, I believe that God promised her another daughter, and it came to pass in my sister Kimberly. So I am great. I want to thank her too, because she was always there making sure her mama was taken care of. My mama could cook real good. She cooked real good. Kimberly and Carla's dad, Clay, he liked oxtail. I ain't want nothing that had a tail. I ain't want to try it. She learned how to make oxtail because she loved that man. And she was cooking oxtail for Clay. So, but anything she could cook. I know y'all know about that Nothing Bundt Cake place that they got with all those strawberry. My mama was Brent Bundt Cakes long before that. She would always have a bundt cake ready, and the thing that I looked forward to was the bowl and the beaters. Amen. But Ken got the bowl, I just got the beaters. And I want to thank Tammy, my wife, for the fried pork chops and the sweet potato pie that Brenda loves so much. Pastor Eric Butler and True Covenant Church for opening up their doors to us. And Bishop Joe Adams from Langham Avenue. And Lula and Brenda were lunch aides at Forest Hill. And they used to see them kids coming in late to school, hungry, knowing that the last meal they had was probably the other day at school. So Lula and Brenda would keep some breakfasts on the side for those late ones. And she knew they ain't had no food at home, so she made sure she sent some sandwiches with them in a book bag. So she was always feeding somebody. I saw the milks at the house. I said, you about to get in trouble. Can I talk about Brenda just for a few minutes? I just want to say that Brenda may have said some healthy things to you in a very strong and assertive way, and I'm not here to apologize on her behalf, but my only assignment today is to tell you to get over it. I need you to look at somebody you're sitting next to and just tell them to get over it. Because Brenda got over it real quick. You still holding on to something she said 14, 15 years ago. Brenda's word was quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, which at times would pierce and penetrate your soul, your spirit, your thoughts, and your attitude. Amen, somebody. Brenda was the word, and even in death, she still gets the last word. I ain't never had to hear Brent cuss nobody out to get her point across. Only thing I heard her say was Negro. That was it. But Brenda had a lot of words in her repertoire to relay her message to you. And the thing about it, the majority of the time, Brenda was always right. Brenda knew when my bills needed to be paid. All right, she come to me and said, Kevin, that tax bill, it's due. I said, I done paid the bill. But let me go check. I don't know. Doggone it, she right. Let me run downtown, pay this bill. Brenda was always right. Brenda, she had this energy about her, and sometimes you needed Brenda's energy to show up. There's some grown men that I heard stories about that needed Brenda's energy against some other grown men. They might be here, they might not be, but when they needed Bren showed up. When some women who might be in this room as well may have been running from some abusive man, some stalker after them, who did they call for assistance? They called Brenda. When Negroes had to be bailed out of jail time and time again, who did they call? They called Brenda. Because they needed that Brenda energy. I needed that Brenda energy one time, Bishop. I was in the 5th grade at Forest Hill, and I had a teacher named Miss Jan Doley, and she was a young white lady, and she seemed nice and kind. But one day, and I was a good student, one day she snatched me up, Pastor Goodson, by my ear, out my desk. I ain't do a thing to deserve to be pulled by my ear. I said, "You don't know who my mother is. Wait till and she pulled me up, put me in a corner, but all the while I said, wait until I tell Brenda. Wait till I get home." I ain't say it to her, but I said it in my spirit. Wait until I tell Brenda what this woman did to me. I got home, I told Brenda, she said, "I'm going up there the next day." I went to class with all my students, and we waited for Miss Jan Doley to enter into the room. But another teacher came in and said that she's taking over for Miss Jan Doley for the rest of the school year. I don't know what happened to Miss Jan Doley, but she never returned to Forest Hill School. Ain't nobody put their hands on Brenda's kids. Brenda was the one to take care and reprimand us. I only been beat by Brent one time. Just one time, because I was a good kid. But I'm going to tell you the reason why she beat me. I had a near fatal experience around 8 or 9 years old. I was following my brother. Y'all know that little house that sits behind the pub? Back there was a little house that sat out there. And I would follow these older cousins, David and Donald and Biddy and Jimmy and Kenny, the brother. And we would go there, and I'm going to tell it all. And they would take us down this vampire's path, they called it. And we would go, it sounded deadly, and we shouldn't have been down there. We heard stories of boys being washed up in the water. But we went down there anyhow. And I followed my brother down there, and a man approached us, and he pulled out a knife. And he got closer and closer to me and my brother. Didn't say anything, but he had that knife. But all of a sudden, Mother Charlotte Purnell came out of nowhere in her Buick, up at the top, flashing her lights, honking the horn. And I said, "Father, I thank you. Because my life on this day was spared." And the only reason why Mother Purnell, my aunt, knew where we was because of Brenda. Brenda knew we was down there, had no business being down there. We would have been washed away somewhere. Nobody would have ever found us. We'd been in Cooper, washed up in the Delaware on the other side of New York before you found our bodies. But Brenda had a tracking device on us or something that I ain't know about. But we got home, and Brenda said, "I'm going to beat y'all together. I'm going to beat y'all at the same time with the same belt." She beat him for taking us down there. She beat me for following after him. And from that day forward, I promised God to never follow after another Negro for the rest of my days. I'm sorry if I keep saying Negro. My mother took over the usher board after Mother Bertha Stephenson, and she took the job seriously. You see these fans, if you got your fan, where them fans at? That boots on the ground, y'all stole that from the usher boy. Always had a fan because we didn't have air conditioning. It was hot in the church. But whatever you needed Brenda to do, she took the job seriously. She was about respect and reverence in the house of God. She will replace your gum with church mints. During altar calls, some of the women would go up with their babies, holding them like shields, so that God really wouldn't give them a touch. But Brenda recognized that, and she would get the baby from the mothers. As soon as the man of God would hit them, they were slain in the spirit. And that baby would look at my mother, Brenda, and say, I thank you, Brenda, because my mama needed that. My mama needed to be on the floor, foaming at the mouth, calling on God. That baby looked at Brenda and said, thank you for giving my mother deliverance. I never had a desire to be an usher, but my mama recruited all the boys to be ushers. One day we all just showed up with white shirts and blue pants, and we was in the middle aisle and on the outer aisles. We held the church basket because that's what Brenda wanted us to recognize, that it wasn't a gender job. If God could use you in any capacity, male or female, God's going to use you. And she knew that being an usher was dirty work. She could give you whatever energy you needed. You needed her to provide children's church? She could do that. You needed her to be the enforcer? Brenda could do that. Whatever energy you needed. You tried to sneak some food into the sanctuary, Brenda's going to catch you. She's going to request that you either put it away or take it to the Annie Lee dining room. Brenda didn't judge people on how they came in dressed either, but she would take the shirt off her back if they needed to be more appropriate. My final thing is that don't ever let someone tell you that a black woman, a single woman, can't teach a boy how to be a man. Brenda taught me how to be a man. I remember I was in Pathmark and I was in a shopping cart with her. And whether you believe it or not, I had a lot of hair back then. And a friend of hers came to the cart and said, that's a beautiful daughter that you have right there. She looked at them and said, why? Because they got all this hair? She said, this is my son. And then she came to me and said, if anybody ever tell you anything different, tell them that you are a man. I learned to be a man from my mother. She was a daycare provider. She was a bail bondsman. She was quick to throw us in the back of the station wagon to pick up somebody from jail, to pick up somebody that was strung out. She had a prison ministry. She was doing hair. A lot of my cousins stayed with us for long periods of time. They might have came in one condition, but Brenda made sure that she put them in a better state of mind when they went back. By the time they was ready to go back, they had a head full of barrettes. Brenda kept a coffee can full of barrettes for the girls that would come to her house. Brenda had everything you needed at home. She was a Dollar General store. You wanted infant sizes, toddler size clothes, clothing for teenagers, everything, toilet paper. Brenda had so much baby oil in her house, you might have thought that she was hosting some Diddy parties. I had to do it. I had to do it. Brenda looked good and could cook good. You name it, she could cook it. And if you didn't make it right, she gonna let you know. Can I tell her, Kimmy? My sister can cook. She can cook her stuff off. And one time, she was at the house cooking for my mom, all on the stove. The stove was just lit up. I said, go ahead. She took the food to Brenda. I ain't hear nothing for a while. But then I saw Kimmy come out, your mother. I said, what didn't happen? And she just left. After all that slaving over the stove, I went back to the Brenda. I said, what's going on? What's happening? I just told your daughter to add a little something to it. She got mad and left. I said, okay, all right. But she tried and she gave effort and she got better from that. Amen. But Brenda had a way of telling you and couldn't hide it on her face. In her decline, she was still doing ministry for the church. There was envelopes coming to the house for Elegant Tea, $300, $100. Scholarship was still coming to the house. She said, check the mail, Kev, because I still got some money that's coming here. She played the lottery. She played her 3-digit, her 4-digit. She told me go play 1478, 1540, play 911, 913, Haddon Avenue. She told me play all them numbers, front, forward, and backwards, straight and box. And when she would hit on the number, she paid her tithes. She didn't keep it. The little bit that she had, she made sure that she gave to God. She said, I'm going to buy all of y'all a big house when I hit that number. And she ain't never hit that number, but we all got our house. Amen. And I just want to say that she's been praying for a big house, and I know that she's got a huge house right now. Because in my father's house are many mansions. And I know she got a lot of plants because my mama was a plant lady, plants all over her. I knew it was going to rain today because she knew that some plants needed to be watered. But she had plants hanging, plants low, and the plant never died because Brenda was always singing and loving on those plants. The last thing I just want to say is that Brenda sang a song that she always looked at me when she sang it. It was never say no to Jesus. Your answer should always be yes. For when God gave his son, he didn't say no. For when he gave his best. And I know that my mama, in everything that she did, Brenda gave her best. And in the words of Victoria Monet, on my mama, on my hood, I look fly, I look good. Touch my swag, wish you would. I look fly, I look good. I look good because of my mama. I like gold because of my mama. I like to stand out because she always had a hair color that you would know that's Brenda. She always had gold around her ears, around her neck. She kept her style and her swag. It was second to none. And that's on my mama. And I just want to say thank you, Brenda, for giving your best to me, for giving your best to my family. And I'm going to miss you. But you did your very best, and you were there for every moment in our lives. And for that, I am forever grateful. Thank you.